How you doing, guys?
Hey everyone out there, if you don't know who I am, I'm Richard from Richard's Trains and More. Sorry for the fuzzy camera and the kind of lopsided video. That's all just my phone. Welcome to our live stream.
Yeah, welcome. And of course, my layout is right in the back where I'm standing here. Sorry if I'm blocking the way, but we definitely got a lot to cover tonight. So just bear with us for just a few minutes before we get started. I want to make sure that we get at least a few more people on before we continue with the live stream here. I also couldn't help but notice you also have a Mark's spotlight tower too.
You mean this one right here?
Yeah.
Let's see, I can't remember where I got that from. That was there was a train store. It used to be about maybe 10 miles from where I live, and it went bankrupt out of business a long time ago. I think I got it from there. It might be K-Line. I can't remember.
Could be.
I know it was used. It wasn't brand new, but it had a box. The box is long gone. So I can't remember. It's been like 15 years.
So
And
I'm
that,
not sure. Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say that store went out of business like back in 2012 or something. It's been a
Uh huh.
long time.
Really?
Yeah, we don't have many stores around here anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The nearest one's in Pasadena. That's about 20, 25 miles away, and they're only like high end O scale, like two rail.
Hmm.
Yeah, but go ahead. I hate to interrupt you.
I was gonna say I'm not really too sure if it's blurry, if my screen is a little blurry on your end, but it's a little hard to tell. But in the back here, I have an original Mark's spotlight tower here myself. Mine's
Oh, I
different.
see it. Yeah, I see it.
Mine, of course, is a different color scheme though.
I think it's like a red lens and a black tower, right?
Yes.
Or hold on a second.
How you doing, Dale? Well, I guess we better get started here. So, how are you guys doing? Good evening. How are you all doing tonight? I'm joined with my good friend Richard here from Richard's Trains and More. That was your cue, you know.
Sorry about that. I'm just trying to take a little matter back here. I'm back. I'm here.
But anyway, we have a lot to cover tonight. We're going to start with a little bit of a Q&A. We'll also be answering some of your guys' questions in the comments section. And then after a while, we're just going to be basically running trains for the rest of the video here. So, Richard, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. It's been a busy week. Just started classes last week and then continue on this week for graduate. I'm doing electrical engineering with emphasis in power systems and energy, so it's a big workload.
Yeah, it sounds pretty busy for you.
Yeah, but I like just to spend a couple hours a week just working on this or just tinkering with stuff. It gets my mind off of things and like a good stress reliever, if you know what I mean.
It sure does.
Well, what about you? What have you been doing
Oh,
lately?
doing pretty good. I mean, I'm actually in the process of trying to find a new job because me and my family moved down here to Delaware for about like a year and a half ago. So it's almost been 2 years since I've last been employed, if you could believe it or not.
Nah, I don't worry. I can imagine that the job market ain't so great out here on the West Coast. So I
Hmm.
think you guys have a better chance out there, even in Delaware.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that the waiting process is a lot much slower down here in Delaware than it was versus when me and my family lived in Jersey.
Oh, that's right. I kept thinking you lived in New Jersey. It's actually Delaware, right?
Yeah.
And you
Well,
probably
we
just
used
said that.
we well we me and my family we did used to live in New Jersey. Yes,
Ah,
almost
okay.
almost 2 years ago, but we moved down here to Delaware in late 2021.
How you like it? Is it better than New Jersey or about comparable?
It's almost. I don't want to say it's exactly the same, but there are a couple of highlights living down here, of course, because ever since me and my folks moved down, lived. Well, ever since we came down here, I've been trying to stay busy as possible. I've been actually a member of two train clubs ever since we moved down here. I'm uh, I'm part of this organization called the Lewis Junction Bridge Association. And what we do is we restore original railway equipment to its original form. And we actually worked on a caboose a little while back and we did some work on it. And finally, somewhere around late 2022, we delivered it up to our local library down in Lewis. And we're going to be having open houses for it for the first and every third Sunday of every month. And that's going to help us to raise a little bit of money along the way. So that way we can work on our next project, which is a natural size, Pennsylvania B6 type locomotive that we're currently trying to work on.
Oh, sweet. You mean like an actual switcher?
Yes, non operational.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, like just to have one there and work on. That's amazing.
Right. So, like I
Um,
said, it's not going to
yeah, I
be
got one
operational or
right
anything. It's
there in the
mostly
middle of the
just.
screen. It's a really crummy copy, but that's it.
Mhm. Well, ours is a little slightly different, but I can see where you're getting at.
Oh
But
yeah,
like I mentioned,
it's a
it's not going to
toy.
be like I mentioned, it's not going to be operational, but it's mostly just going to be for display and open houses, like I mentioned.
Awesome. I'd love to see that, but I'm stuck here about 3,000 miles away.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
So
remember seeing a picture of that caboose you restored. I can't remember where you posted it, but it looked amazing. I wish you could have seen that too. That was a Pensy caboose too, right?
yes, and the I do want to mention that the color of the caboose that we chose for, uh, well, the actual color that we chose from, it's not exactly accurate, but we wanted to pick a much brighter color that would appeal to the general public.
Right. I can't remember what color Pensy cabooses were. Maybe like a Tuscan brown or
I
dark
mean the
brown, right?
Yeah, I mean the Tuscan that they chose to back in the day was similar to something that you would find on an old-fashioned boxcar or a Tuscan Red GG1 congressional locomotive.
Okay. They seem to love that color, and I can't blame them. It's pretty attractive when you mix it with like a gold stripe.
Hmm. So the color that's actually on the crane that you have on the screen there, it's almost the exact same color.
Right. I know on the screen it looks a little faded. In person, it's a little darker than usual. It's this right here.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I think somebody in the comments said, "What are those switches for?" Let me go back. Actually, I can't even pull it up, but I had it positioned over here. Somebody said it's just for various things throughout the layout. Like I'll pick it up and move it, but right here is for the I can't remember what it's called, the 282 crane. That's just a flashlight for looking for stuff underneath the table. I do all the time. One's for switches, one's for a coal loader. Everything's labeled, but pretty much just a wiring nightmare to sum it up.
Now
So,
are you also still working on your 397 coal loader?
um, the one that's the one right here, right? I can't remember the name or number. No, that's the one that's over here, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
one
this
that
one.
you mentioned that you're installing the coal ramp for.
Um, yes and no. I got it, and part of my language, but some idiot just poured oil over the entire motor. So when I first tested it, it actually started smoking like crazy.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it took a couple hours to clean everything out, and it runs, but it's a little sluggish. It's not hooked up right now, but eventually my plan is to somehow add like another spur for this, so you can back up a hopper like this one without the crane in the way, dump it into this bin, which the bin is missing. I gotta find it somewhere, and then dump back in the hopper and repeat over and over again. So that's the next project to work on. Yeah,
Like,
it works. It's not pretty, but it's a mess. I tried to base it off of one of the classes I took was power transmission distribution. So in a way, kind of like this is your distribution transformer. You have different leads and feeders going out. So you have a feeder going out over there, a feeder going out over here, both for positive and ground. In like very simple sense, that's how it works.
very nice. Now, I also understand that you have a pretty big collection as far as your videos go, but how many locomotives, such as how many, steam engines and diesels do you think you might have in your collection so far?
Well, to be honest, I lost count. Steam wise, it's probably 50. I don't have. I used to have a rough estimate, and that was like 4 years ago, and then that was around 50 just total. But it's grown since then. Diesel wise, maybe around 30. So estimate like 80 total, maybe.
Not bad.
Uh, yeah. Eventually, I gotta do like a grand total count of everything, like everything from that little guy to a general to everything. Um, don't ask me about cars either. I lost count that years ago.
Hmm. Now, what was the I'm actually gonna throw a little bit of a curveball at you, but
Oh,
what was
goody.
your most expensive item, and which was your most least expensive item that you collected?
Well, that's easy. I kind of have a guide rule never to pay more than $100 for anything. And I see Chicago Land Railroad is there. I remember him. It's great to see you again. I saw you're changing your layout, but probably the most expensive one I bought was it was a Williams Trainmaster. It was both the power and dummy. It had a box. It was in pretty good shape. I think it was right around 100, maybe less. That was it. That's the most expensive one I bought.
Very cool.
I can't remember your other question. Was it cheapest?
Yes.
Oh, do freebies count?
I mean, I guess it really depends
Yeah,
on
I,
commission,
I,
but
I honestly can't remember. We used to have a couple of shows down here, and then you would have like places that have like boxes underneath the table and be like a $5 for some Marks engine. I used to go down there and just grab a whole bunch, and then you say like, "Oh, grab them for $10." So somewhere around that vicinity.
neat.
Okay, now I got the chat working. Somebody said conventional or command or mix. Um, well, there's an easy answer. It's probably about 99% conventional, maybe one or two or three line chiefs, and that's it. Yeah, it's mostly conventional, just based upon these two ZWs right here, and that's it. Yeah, cheapies are always most fun when they work. When they don't work, then it's a paperweight.
So it looks like Art from Art's Model Trains has got the right idea here. So I guess we can count freebies then.
Yeah, I know I grabbed the Mark 666. It was like $5 or less, and I have no idea where it went. I think I lost it when I moved over here.
Hmm.
That or it's still in a box somewhere. But
I, I love
that was probably
Mark's
the cheapest one.
locomotives.
What's that?
I love Mark's trains.
I like that they're affordable and they're pretty dang durable. I think I've only found one that didn't work and had a bad armature. So, but that was it. Easy fix, ran beautifully after that.
Now, even though I don't have any Mark's locomotives as of right now, but like I mentioned, I do have some original Mark's accessories on both of my layouts here. I have
Oh, I
the
have that. The one to the left. That's a barrel loader, right?
well, this is the K line reproduction of the
Oh,
barrel
it's
loader.
K-line.
Right,
Okay. I
but right
have.
next to it over here, this is the original Mark's diesel fueling station.
I didn't know they made one like that. That's pretty cool. Does it work or is it just stationary?
It works.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm actually not gonna lie. I really like this one a whole lot more than the Lionel post-war fueling station. I don't want to cause any debate or battles in the comments section below, but I feel like with this type of fueling station that Mark's made, you can really see the action a whole lot better. Because with the original Lionel post-war version, as much as I love that fueling station too, it's usually very hard to take a better view of the action once the diesel locomotive is parked in front of the accessory.
Wasn't there a building or something blocking the guy that came out?
Yes,
Aha, yeah, I've never seen one action, but I've seen it in person, and it's kind of hard to see. It's not that Mark's one already. It looks a million times better.
I agree. And then finally, like I mentioned, I do have this original Mark's Spotlight Tower, which I bought at my antique store a couple of weeks ago.
Oh wow,
And when
it's almost identical, aside
yeah,
from the
and
colors.
what I mean by a couple of weeks, I kind of mean almost like a month now, I guess you could say.
How did you find that at an antique store? The ones down here have like, I don't know, a broken Scout engine for $70, and it sits there for 5 years.
Trust me, we literally got like a bunch of antique stores down here, and this has been sitting in the display case for almost ever since me and my family moved down here to Delaware, and nobody's touched it. So I figured, if nobody else picked it up, I might as well take it under my wing myself.
That was really cool. I've also noticed on, I don't know if it's me that moved around, but on yours the ladder is in the back, and on mine the ladder is in the front. I don't know if these. Oh yeah, they do move. Never mind.
Yeah, they're adjustable.
I never moved it ever since putting it there. If I forgot. Huh.
All right. So once again, if you guys have any questions or comments you'd like to throw down in the comments section below, fire away and we'll try to answer them as best we can. Looks like the Chicagoland Railroaders just joined us here tonight. How you guys doing?
I haven't got a chance to watch his latest video yet, but I saw he was changing his layout. Something about cutting it down in size or putting like a dog bone loop. Correct me if I'm wrong about that.
I think I might know what you're talking about. Yeah. I think I might have seen that one too.
Time. Somebody said time, layout, stat, size, number of tracks. Um, so I'll just go off really quickly. It's about 11 and a half by 11 and a half with like a 4x4 triangle chopped out of one end. And somebody said favorite engine to run. Ooh. I gotta say maybe like a Williams Trainmaster. I mean, I got one of those and fell in love with it. That thing just crawls and it pulls anything. In fact, I
And
should
then
have.
my
Go ahead.
favorite locomotive has to be this little beauty right here. If you guys can just give me a second, I'd be happy to pull it out for you. So this is a MTH Proto Sounds 3 semi-scale Union Pacific Big Boy from 2012.
Oh, Nelly, I didn't know you had that. Is that 4014? I didn't see the number.
Yep.
Oh, you're kidding. So where I live, 4014 used to be on display at just about maybe 10 miles away. And it was at a fairgrounds, and every time it was open, we could just walk in there, we could climb on top of it, play around it. So it's pretty incredible to see that that's the same engine that's running right now and going around pulling excursions. I can't believe that. If you told me that 20 years ago that eventually they'd restore it and get it running, I'd say you're nuts.
So since we're on the topic of size here, I do want to ask, how big do you really consider your layout?
Well, my first one was like a 4x8 board with 4x2.5 attachment, and I thought that was big. And then when I built this thing, this felt huge, but after running around and getting all working, now it feels tiny, but it's still big. Somebody said, "What's my YouTube channel name?" It's just Richard's Trains and More. Um, Unless someone else really used that name, it should be the same.
It's definitely a name I always remember.
Okay. Well, I've changed it several times in the past, so like, yeah, I haven't used this channel a long time. I'm trying to remember what it was.
And then meanwhile, my layout, well, both my layouts here are 4x8s, but combine them both all together, you got a 8x8 configuration.
I see you have, I'm trying to look at a picture. It's like two independent loops, right?
Yes.
And I thought there was a trolley line in the middle. Am I correct?
Well, not necessarily a trolley line, but I do have this small bumper section on the top of the bridge here,
Oh,
featuring
okay.
the Lionel number 50 handcar.
That was it. That's what I was thinking of.
I, I am planning to expand it just a little bit, but I haven't really gotten that far yet. So far, it's working pretty good. Ever since I hooked everything up, but I'm still trying to figure out what else am I going to add to this in order for me to expand the track line on the top here.
You could always do like an elevated section, have like maybe like an elevated grade up and down or another loop.
Right. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm still figuring it out, what kind of materials that I should use in order for me to do that.
Oh yeah, yeah, same here. For the longest time, I've been meaning to build a mountain like back in this corner or behind me, and I just never got around to do it. I never had time and forgot.
Yeah, mountains are actually very easy for me to build, but for something as, this challenging, that's more of a different story if you ask me.
Oh yeah, no, I see what you mean. You could do like maybe a partially elevated section in the very back where the bridge is. Have it. That's the highest point it goes, and then when it turns, it goes down. Or I don't know. I'm trying to think of possibilities too.
I was also thinking about adding some kind of a city scene in the back, right where the forest is, because I don't know if you ever watched the old TM books and
Oh.
videos featuring Clark Dunham's layout, but he is actually, well, I'm not sure if he still does this today, but he used to be a Broadway set designer. And when you take a look at his layouts, you can see how well that he mixes both model trains with realism and fantasy at the same time. And it really does help his artwork really pop out.
Which layout was that? Because I probably have seen it before. I just never knew who the owner was.
Well, he's actually had a bunch of layouts made over the years for different owners and different museums, but his most recognizable one, at least in my opinion, is of course the layout that was made for Doug DeBay for Great Toy Train Layouts of America.
I'm trying to remember. Was there any big features in there, or like I don't know, like waterfall or mountain or whatever?
Yeah, he had like this big mountain on one side of the layout, and the rest of it was like huge cityscape, like I mentioned earlier before. He also had some clouds running along the side of the track with some Plasticville buildings and such. He also had an S gauge loop on the bottom, I believe, and everything else was all O gauge.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. I'm sure I've seen one before. Just off the top of my head, I can't remember the name or whatnot.
I can also mention some of the locomotives that he was running too.
It's over here. Yeah. What was he running?
Yeah, for the S gauge line, he had a American Flyer Missouri Pacific train set. He also had they were also running an O gauge Santa Fe, and they also had a Wabash, not NPC. It was one of the later Lionel steam locomotive train sets, but it was a Wabash locomotive with the smoke deflectors on the side. They also had a Great Northern Empire builder. I believe that's what the passenger set was called. And
Was he the one? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Had like a big arch bridge.
Yes, yes, that's the one.
Oh, okay, yes, I have seen it before. Many, many years ago. It was probably like one of those I Love Toy Train videos. I think it was shown there.
Yeah, and then
It was like a
finally
double
on
track arch bridge.
in the center of the layout, which I consider to be the star of the main attraction of the whole layout, if you will, was the Lifesaver factory that he built.
I don't remember that part.
Well, originally when he bought the kit, it was supposed to resemble just a plain old, you know, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a plain old boring type of factory. But he thought that it would
Like the
really,
one right here.
yes, but if not bigger, of course. But
Oh
anyway, he
yeah.
thought that it would be much better if it was painted in bright colors and appeal to a lot more people. So he kind of thought about it in his head, and he kind of thought to himself, why not a Lifesaver factory? And they did mention in the video that there were going to be some Lionel Lifesaver tank cars that they were going to add, but who knows if they actually did that or not.
That's actually a pretty creative idea. I've been meaning to take this factory in the center of the video and like repaint it or modify it in some way. It's kind of a like a bland tan beige color. I don't even think it's even lighting up. I think the light bulb burned out inside of it.
Hmm, that's
Oops.
not good.
Yeah, something else to work on.
It was the oil refinery. That's what it was.
Oh, an oil refinery. Okay.
Thanks,
That's not
Dell.
what I'm thinking of.
All right, let's see what's going on
Well,
in the comments section here.
it's been almost half an hour. Maybe you should try get like a train running or something in the background.
Oh, sure. Before we do that, though, I do have like a few more questions to
Oh
ask.
yeah, fire away.
Are you mostly I guess my next question is: are you mostly traditional, or do you also like to collect some of the newer stuff that's coming out?
I think if you take one look around here, I would say like 99% traditional, 1% scale. It's mostly if like I can afford it or if it's something that's really cool, I just have to have. But for the most part, it's mostly just like 027 smaller stuff like this or shrunken down in size.
Nice.
I'm not really a scale person. I mean, you have a gigantic 440 right next to a Berkshire, next to a overgrown Switcher. So does it bother me? Not really. As long as it works, I have fun.
Well said. And then as for me, I'm kind of like a mixture of both. I like to have a layout where it's more traditional, but I also have some realistic buildings and such, scattered around on the table here. And then for the other layout in the back, I like to keep a scale scheme to this section of the layout, but also add a couple of Lionel traditional post-war buildings and accessories, along with some woodland scenics and K-line Plasticville, as well as a couple of buildings that I make myself.
Which ones did you build by yourself? I'm trying to look in the picture. Which ones are homemade?
I could show you this one right here.
Oh, Blockbuster. Yeah, we used to have one in our city, and it went out of business many, many years ago. Good memories.
It's actually kind of crazy to think that there's only like one blockbuster left in existence.
Isn't it like up in Oregon somewhere or
I believe that's where
Washington?
it is. I think it's Oregon.
Yeah, I have a friend who moved up there 3 years ago. It's probably near him, but I don't think he goes there.
All right. Let's see what we got here.
Let me get this back over here, and I'll get maybe the Souter engine going if it's
All
not
right.
too loud.
Now, are you also do you also uh not keep in touch, but do you also kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, like, are you keeping up with any of the newer stuff that's coming out from Lionel? I know you mentioned that you're mostly a traditional guy, but wasn't so sure what your thoughts on some of the newer Lionel engines are today.
I haven't really taken a look yet. I just saw a lot of complaints were given towards the latest catalog. Something about there was a Willy Wonka train that people were arguing about, and yeah, but not really. I used to. I'll get there was a store nearby me that would give out free catalogs once in a while, and I would grab one, just look through it, and see what the new stuff was. But I haven't looked at it in years.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I mean the last catalog I had was like 2009 or 2008.
What I actually kind of find, a little funny is that even though the Willy Wonka train is starting to, gain a little bit of complaints out there, there is a Looney Tunes train that Lionel also just came out with, and I don't really see any complaints about that either.
Which one was that?
It's a brand new one. It comes with a diesel locomotive, three boxcars. Well, actually, no. It comes with the locomotive, a couple of freight cars, an animated gondola, and then finally a caboose. And then you could also buy the Acme factory for it for separate sale.
Is that Looney Tunes themed? I didn't hear what the name was called.
Yeah,
Huh. They've been doing Looney Tunes for like almost 30 years now. I guess people have gotten used to them.
I guess so. All right.
Oops.
I know I'm like talking up a storm here, but I guess I shouldn't say I guess, but my final question is, what's your advice for somebody who might be getting into the hobby, or somebody who's starting to grow a little bit of an interest in model railroading?
Hmm. That's a really good question. I would say definitely get like lots of background knowledge, like just how to run it, like basic troubleshooting attempts, like how to wire a track, get that going. Um, I guess like always watch your budget, never like splurge like crazy several times or um you stumped me. I've never fired that question before, so congratulations.
Thank you. But I can also help you out on that question too. If I would give some advice to you guys out there who are starting to get into the hobby, if you're planning to build a layout for your home, don't try don't start building right away. Try to visualize, your dream layout in your head and think about where you really want your track to be laid down, where you want your accessories to be put, and what kind of scenery that you want for your layout, because it's almost just like building your own home. You want to make sure that your layout really does complement your house nicely. you know Almost like when you get like a new piece of furniture or a bed or a sofa or a new television set. It's really got to complement the your living space, the best as you can design it.
That's probably the best single piece of advice I've ever heard. So that is an excellent response. Because to be honest, when I designed this layout about 3 years ago, I made a really bad error right over here. If you can see this kind of awkward chisel cut right here, it was supposed to go out a little more and then back in. I made a measurement error for this bridge. It should have been about 2 feet more in, and I thought it was 2 feet out further. So at the last minute, I had to chop that off and then kind of work the whole layout around that. So if I had taken that advice, I probably would have like done a mock up and say, yeah, this isn't gonna work. I've got to redesign this whole layout.
Enough said. All right, enough of that. So I'm going to go ahead and operate my layout here. So as for tonight's running session, I got my Lionel Conventional Classics 2321 Yuri Lackawanna FM diesel locomotive from 2008. I also have a small freight set headed by a MTH Baltimore and Ohio / Chessie system SW1 switcher, pulling a flat car with a piggyback on it. I also have a Lionel reefer. And then finally, on the layout in the back, like I mentioned to Richard, I got my bumper section with the number 50 gang car from Lionel. And then finally, on the second loop here, I have a freight set headed by a Santa Fe Lionel Linechief Plus 4103 Berkshire in the paint scheme of some of the older Lionel, well, some of the older Santa Fe steam locomotives, I guess you could say. Now, Lionel, everything else is pretty much MTH, including 4 Santa Fe boxcars. I got a BNSF tank car, and then I also have some 4-bay hoppers with Santa Fe, Union Pacific, CSX, and Norfolk Southern on it.
That is cool. That Trainmaster is one I've been looking for, but never could find one at a decent price. That's Lackawanna. So I've got the Southern Pacific, Virginian, okay, Jersey Central, and then I got one that somebody custom painted. I think it was in Erie, but I've been looking for a Lackawanna. I don't have that one yet.
I think I do remember the Erie one that you showed on your channel that one time.
Yeah, I bought that really cheap many years ago. I think it was like $50. The person just said like old train, and I got it here. It was huge. It was the first Trainmaster I had, but it ran fine. Ran a little noisy, but oh yeah, I got that one too. But it's a Williams. Is that one Lionel?
This one's a Lionel post-war Celebration Series reproduction from 2008.
Ah, nice.
I'm
Yeah,
also going to be
mine.
doing. I'm also going to be doing a little review
There.
on this. Uh, oh wow!
Yeah, that's another mess to work through, but it's kind of in storage.
I noticed that the color of the orange was a little bit brighter on that one.
Um, it's a little off. Yours, I think, is well in person. It's actually pretty dark.
Well, that's also because it's hiding in the closet over here. But if I take it out in the light,
Okay, yeah, the orange is different. You're right.
yeah.
It's a different shade.
But as I was saying, I'm going to be doing a little review on this engine in the next couple of weeks or so. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. But anyway, enough of me chatting away here. Let's go ahead and run the trains, and hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the video here. Hi, Essie. There we go.
Let's break out the coffee grinder. Somebody said what's the Santa Fe in front of the Trainmaster. I don't know if they were referring to you, Railchief, or me. I didn't hear that. Oh, in the closet. Yeah, there we go. gonna work. Nope, doesn't want to do it. Yeah, thanks, Art. It's pretty busy here. In fact, we got a dead trolley. What happened here? There it goes.
I like the color scheme.
Hold on. Did you say something?
I said I like the color scheme of that trolley.
Oh, yeah. That was It was a battered postboard trolley, and lettering was gone. It was cracked, and I had to glue it back together. And it was so bad shape. I just thought of repainting it and try to do a trolley line we used to have here in Los Angeles called LA Railway. But I think
Reminds me
they
of a
were
Chicago. It almost reminds me of a Chicago and Northwestern.
that too. It's almost the same color. Let's see if it'll get going. There it goes. I think we have a stuck. There it goes. That's an awesome view. What I might do is get out on the other side of the table to see a better view of what's going on here. It's kind of tight. Hold on. There we go.
Thanks for stopping
Now
by,
you can see
Dan.
it. Sadly, I always have to stretch underneath. I wish I made it to the lift bridge. I've been trying to plan if I could, but right now it's bolted right here and over there, so it's not going anywhere. But this is where I was standing before. It's kind of a tight little area. That's why I was going to have to squeeze my elbows and move the camera around. But here is more room. Same here. I might work in that. Lost it for a second. I might work in trying to build like a lift bridge here eventually. That's another plan to work on. So the outside curve is all 042 except for this piece and this piece here, which is 072. But the inside has a split between 042 and 031. Back here it's 042, but when it goes on this side, this is all 031. Whoops. Oh, all right. Well, there hasn't been too many comments so far. Just mostly about this bridge, which I've been meaning to make a lift bridge and surveyed it, and that's it. Right now, I'm just waiting for a crash to happen. Let me see if I can get over on this side. Thanks for hanging around, Art. Thanks for watching our live stream. Hope you have a good rest of your day and week. Now to go insane. No, Railchief, you're right. I'm mean on my end. It's a little noisy. There we go. Now I'm back.
Then I guess that makes me the crazy one here.
What was that?
No, I was talking to I was talking to Chicago Line Railroader here.
Oh, okay. Looks like we got a race going on here.
It's old-fashioned versus the new nuts and bolts you see on the other track there.
Let me go under here, turn this down. I can't even hear myself speaking. I don't know if someone was talking or if it was just me. Which engine's horn is that? I keep hearing it on the background. Oops. Something about a horn I kept hearing, and one of these engines is stalled, so now I gotta go rescue it. Okay, which one of you did it? Okay. There's
That one's
something else
not
to
working
work
either.
on. What?
That one's not working either.
Well, what it is it's two they were MTC engines, and I repainted them, put new decals on them, and I
No,
run them back to back.
no. I know they are MPC engines, but I'm asking, are they working or no?
I think one of them got out of sequence. They both have units, and I think one like tripped. So one's going forward while the other one's neutral, and the other one's going neutral, the other one's reversed, so they won't go together.
I've ran into that same situation a couple times myself.
I think I'll just put a different engine on there and have it pull that. Here, I know which one. Put a Siemens on there to have it change the lineup.
I'm gonna go ahead and adjust my camera over here.
All right, let's see if that'll go. Yep. Well, that's weird. What's going on? Oh, okay. Just didn't want to go.
Now it's running like a little doodle bug.
What was that?
I said now it's running like a little doodle bug.
Oh, oops, lost the train. What happened? Oh, okay. Uh, Guess we'll go in reverse. So there's 6 people here, so we still have a big crowd.
Probably not as big like it was earlier before.
It's bigger than the ones I usually get. You're doing pretty good for just past the hour mark. Howdy there, Cloverdale friends of the 40. I hope I said that right.
What
We
was
just
that?
passed the 1 hour mark. We've had no derailments or crashes yet, so we're having a good night. All right. Well, technically it's not at 736, but it is at 736. It's just behind me over here. Um, it's just not 100% original. It's kind of a hodgepodge mess of parts. This one right over there. Yeah, they're pretty nice engine. It's very powerful. It likes to go fast. That's my only complaint. Mine doesn't have very good slow speed.
You have to admit, though,
Oh yeah, it's extremely heavy. A lot heavier than say like one of these 2055, or even the Hudsons like this one right here. It's a lot heavier than those. So I think I just saw the clock. I'll give it about maybe 5 to 10 more minutes, and I gotta head out. Um, just letting you know, Railchief and everyone else. Um, yeah, I'll just give like a 5 or 10 minute heads up. Okay, so like about 5 minutes or so. Okay, yeah, that should be good. No wait. Hey, look, you got a new conductor.
That's my dog Ozzy.
Oh,
Hi, Booby. Hi, Ozzy there. Good
so I
boy.
take it she isn't too afraid of your layout there and all the noise, huh?
No, this is actually one of his most favorite time of the day. When
Really?
when it's late in the evening, and then I come upstairs with him, and he just loves it when I turn the layout on and just watch the
Aww.
things go round and round.
My cats, they just fly off into oblivion whenever I turn this on. They're definitely afraid of noise.
To each their own, I guess.
That's true. Well, better late than never. Well, I suppose so. I'm standing about like a 3x3 space, so I don't have much room to walk around. So my apologies for that. Oops.
I really like that crossing gate that you have in operation.
Which one?
The 262.
Oh yeah, I got that at a train show years ago. I think that was like $2. That one right there, and it's been working ever since. Its original bulbs and everything.
Nice.
Yeah, this one right here it's of course the later one. It's got the red gate. But I like this one better. It works better than the other one.
Would you ever think about adding the blinking mechanism to it at some point?
You know, I've actually tried in the past. Ooh, almost tripped there for a second. Um, I tried to build one myself in the past. There was like a really simple schematic. It was just like a 555 timer chip. my old layout before this, I did have one where I hooked it up to a Marks crossing gate and it worked. But
Where
when
you
I
going,
took it all
Ozzy?
down, I lost the circuit. I don't know where I put it.
Well,
But I
they always
think,
say
go ahead.
that it's better to have reproduction parts for the signal instead of fiddling around with its original without fiddling around with its original you know condition.
Oh yeah, they're kind of a pain to tear apart, but I've done it so many times I can probably do it blindfolded.
Hmm.
The first time was the hardest.
Yeah, I bet.
There's a lot of parts if you put in backwards, like it won't work. I'm sure this one right here I probably messed up. It's not going down all the way, so there's something jamming inside there.
The one accessory that's been giving me a lot of trouble over the past couple of years is the Lionel 155 ringing signal. I'm not really too sure if you can see it on the video, but I have it right next to the fire station.
Oh, is that the one that has like there's like a motor in the base that spins around? It's supposed to make the lights flash, right?
Yeah, but here's the interesting thing. Let me just go get it.
Doesn't it have a bell too?
Yeah. So I took the bell out because the mechanism inside broke, but this is what I have left here.
Oh, so you can still wire it up at least for that.
Yeah. So now, once me and my dad go up to York, Pennsylvania this October, I got to see if I can look through the junk box and try to find the original bell mechanism that goes inside here. The other one I'm still keeping, but I would really like to get this thing in full operation once again with the lights flashing back and forth.
You know what's really odd is out here on the West Coast, I've been to several dozen train shows in the past. I've never actually seen that one any train show in a junk bin or that was in good shape. I've never seen that before. I don't. I wonder if they didn't sell well out here or something. I just find it kind of odd.
That does sound odd.
Yeah. Thanks, Clover. Sorry, I have a tongue twister here. Thanks, Cloverdale, for watching. I think I'm gonna head off soon too. I've got actually work in about half an hour to an hour, so I gotta get off and get ready for that.
And I also got to get up early a little. I also got to get up a little bit earlier tomorrow too. But before we go, I just do want to mention that. Well, I want to mention a couple of things, of course. I am still working on my review of the Lionel Post-War Celebration Series Jersey Central locomotive, and I'll try to make sure to get that out on my channel sooner rather than later. And then also on my other channel, Railchief's Back Shop, I did a restoration video on these Lionel post-war Canadian Pacific Streamline passenger cars.
Those are beautiful.
I know, right? I mean, look how beautiful this thing is shining in the light here. It almost looks like a brand new trophy.
Isn't that the set that they're quite valuable too if it's all original?
Well, what's
Like
funny about these cars when I got them was the original owner that I was talking to on social media mentioned that he was going to throw them out, and I tried to convince him.
no, no, don't do that.
I tried to convince him to hold on to them, and he mentioned he's like I'm more of a newer type of Lionel operator than I am with post-war, and he asked me if I wanted them, and I asked him how much you asking, and he said I'm not looking for a penny whatsoever. You can have them
You're
if you want.
kidding.
And so I accepted the offer. I took him under my wing, or took him under my rail, I guess you could say, if you will. And it took a little while, but thankfully I was able to get these back to their original condition as best as I could. Like I mentioned, I do have a tutorial video on how I managed to polish up the aluminum. I'll make sure to leave that in the link down below so that way you guys can go check out my other main channel, Rail Chief's Back Shop. And then finally, before we go ahead and log off here, I just wanted to thank Richard over here once again for joining me tonight. It was such a blast having you on the channel with me, and we can't wait to have you again in the near future.
Thank you so much, Railchief. I'd love to do this again. This was just awesome just to talk with everyone and just have like a two-way conversation. This was just loads of fun.
Well, that's what we do
Thank
here.
you
We like.
so much.
You're welcome. Well, and that's what we do. We love to have fun. We love to socialize, and we most importantly, we love to run trains. Period.
That I do.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed watching the live tonight. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to hit the notification bell as always. But until next time, hope you all have a good night tonight, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Night, guys.
Good night.
Take care, Richard.
You too. Thank you.